So, this is Google. This is the search universe. And right there, see that little dot? Can you see that? I don't know, I may have to magnify it. See right there where the little arrow is?
Oh.
That's your website. So, in the reality of search world, so Dale talked about search engine optimization. Optimization is getting you from that to this in Google search, Google's eyes. So you're tiny, when you first launch a website, I mean, nobody's going to find you except your mother, and she'll go there because you told her to, okay? Mom, go check out my website. Woo, I got 2 hits, yay! And then mom goes back every day just to get you some more hits. But in the reality, we need, that consumer that's just across the street that's looking for what we do to buy our product or do business with us to find us online. So we use a complete strategy, A to Z, website, social media, everything in between, so that you can use all of the free tools that are humanly possible to get found online. So this is a little bit different diagram within social media. So here's your website. Again, you're starting small, but as you link in and out of websites like Facebook, you are borrowing a little bit of their massive size. So because you have a link into Facebook, when you create a page it says put your website in there, you put that link in there, and then back on your website you put the little button and a link back to your website. Those 2 links increase your searchability. So whether you ever use a social platform or not, you're going to get an optimization boost just by creating the links. So if you do nothing else, set it up, link it, so that you're at least getting a boost. Real time, I did a exterminator here in town who was on page 10 of Google. Okay, I mean that's so far down that his mother couldn't even find him. I mean, he was 10 pages, nobody's ever going past page 2. So we set him up, and we linked him to pretty much all of these sites: LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, and there are others, Pinterest, and we'll talk in detail about some of those down the road. And again, we do a whole class on every one of these channels and more. But within 2 weeks, he was able to move from page 10 to page 2 just by creating these links. So it's not magic. If for instance, if you're in real estate, that's a competitive category. That's harder to get from page 10 to page 2. He's an exterminator. It's not an overrun category, so it's a little easier to make headway quicker. So now in time, he's never created any posts on his channels other than some automated ones that I set up. So he's got no connectivity, he's got no relationship happening, he's not doing what he should be doing on his social media channels, and now he's on page 1, number 6, just because he's linked, and over time, now he's moved up in searchability for Google. Again, just the links in and out is a head start in getting your website found online. So then, beyond that, we talked about, if your website encompasses a blog, you can continue to stuff your website with content, and it grows and grows and grows and grows. And if you do it appropriately with the right keywords for your category, eventually Google sees you as the expert in your category. If your category is elder care, for instance, I have a client that does elder care. And over time, he's creating content, and he's making videos, and he's writing blog posts, and he's understanding keywords, so that now, in time, eventually for Tucson and for Phoenix, he will be seen as the expert in elder care in this market. So Google will recognize that. The idea with Google search is they want to reward the consumer with the best there is in any category. The optimization is to find the best in the business So reviews come into play as well, but they want you as the consumer to find the best plumber, the best everything when you search on Google. So this is part of that. Again, now, if you come back and you're adding content to your website, you're also adding content to all of these sites. Eventually, you grow into your own universe of searchability, and that's where some of the big companies have gotten to. But you can be very competitive in a lot of categories just by creating content consistently. So let's talk about your online presence. How many people still use the Yellow Page? Anybody pull that out and look at it? Nobody. Very few people, occasionally one or two folks from our classes will say, I still use it, other than maybe as a paperweight. It's really not used anymore. What do people do? They go to... Yeah, you pull out your... But when you want to find something, how to... Yeah, booster seat. Booster seat for the kids. So when you want to find something, what do you do? Google it, right? Or you pull out your phone and you type it in and it says there's 2 blocks away. So the reality is people are going to find you online most of the time before they ever meet you. So if you look like this for a website, people are going to look at that and say, wow, I don't want to do business. I don't want to go in there. I'm afraid I'll get something. I mean, I'm going to nick myself and have some kind of bizarre disease after I go in that place. Well, you look at a website and you get the same feeling. So what about that? That's clean and comfortable. I want to go in there. I don't even know what they sell, and I want to go there. That is a good... So people have spent millions of dollars to look great. Well, you don't have to spend millions of dollars to look great online where people are finding you first. You could look like that. What does that website make you feel when you land there? Yeah, oh, what do I click? What do I do? Where do I go? It's almost as bad as a government website. If you ever land there, there's 8,000 links, and you're like, what on earth do I do here? I'm so confused. Or, here are my elder care friends. I pretty much get the deal there. When I land, I know I'm supposed to go fill out that form right there and click submit. Very minimal options. People need to be told what to do and where to go and how to get there. Apply now. Fill out this form. Buy now. They need an action step on your website that is strong, and it kind of reaches out and grabs them and says, here's the next step. Come on, take them by the hand. But simplicity, clean, Google has set the standard as the ultimate in websites. So what do you do when you go to Google? It's a big white page with a blank, right? You put some words in and you hit go. Pretty simple, right? Everybody knows that, everybody gets that. So that is the model for today's modern websites. Simplicity, tell me what to do. I don't want to have to figure it out. I want one-click simplicity to get what I need. And they demand that in reality. So let's talk about online activities. 1 billion people now on Facebook. Is that crazy? 1 billion of your potential customers on Facebook, if that's the right network for you. 300 million registered tweeters, or people on Twitter. 80% of companies are now using LinkedIn to find its employees. It's where many of your current customers are, and it's where all of your future customers will be. So we talk about this being a really big number for everyone. 52% of the global population is under 30. So what do we know about people under 30? They're identified by a lot of names. Digital natives is one. So these are my kids, for instance. They grew up in a digital age. They didn't grow up in a Walkman age or a Discman. Did anybody have a Discman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember Cindy had a Discman. So they've grown up in a micro digital age. They don't understand, you know, why, other than now it's cool to bring back albums and LPs. It's this big and it holds 10,000 songs. That is the world they've grown up in. So they consume digitally. They are 98% of them are on social networks. So it is where they're spending their time and doing live. So let's talk about the different platforms. How much time, this is time, that people are spending on social networks. So you've got a captive audience to have a conversation with and connect and talk about your business. 405 minutes per visitor, and this is the average minutes per visitor to social media sites in the month of January this year. So this is a month, 405 minutes a month. I bet you didn't know this, Tumblr, so one of the other biggest sites, 89 minutes per month. Tumblr is another very fast growing social media platform that is largely 30 and under. 35 and under is the target audience for Tumblr. It is a intermediate microblog that has videos, images, and basic blog content. It's short, but it's not Twitter short. You can create a longer blog post with video and images, but again, a very fast-growing platform. Pinterest, that's very outdated. Pinterest has exploded this year. Pinterest will be competing very closely at the end of this year with Facebook for time on the site, because again, 80% of ladies are making that shift. They're spending as much time now on Pinterest as they are on Facebook. LinkedIn, 17 minutes per month, and that has actually grown as well. LinkedIn has really blown up this year. People are understanding how to do business to business on LinkedIn, and it is where professionals spend time on social networks. If I'm a white-collar, suit and tie businessman and I work in the professional world, I'm not spending a lot of time on Facebook, but I am on LinkedIn because I'm recruiting, I'm trying to do business, I'm doing multiple things on LinkedIn. So if my target customer is a professional man or woman who is 45 plus and has a substantial income to be able to buy houses, have mortgages, they're actually on LinkedIn. So you'll get more closed business even if you're business to consumer on LinkedIn, if that's your target audience. Twitter, 21 minutes a month. Google Plus is growing fast. Dale identified those very well, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So here's choose your channel. If you're in sales, best combination, Twitter, Foursquare, and Facebook. And the Facebook here that it's identifying is actually using paid advertising on Facebook. Okay, if you're in sales. Customer service, large amount of Facebook and some Twitter. If you're trying to just create traffic, for instance, Huffington Post gets 8% of their traffic from Facebook, from just Facebook. And actually I subscribe to them because they actually have a tech department that has some really great technical information about new technologies, new social medias. Public relations, Facebook and Twitter. Search engine optimization, and this is important for you guys. This combination right here, you see the number 1, YouTube, and number 2, Google+. Those two in combinations will make you competitive, especially real estate and mortgage. Those are probably the areas you can make the most gains, the quickest to compete with massive companies with YouTube and Google Plus in combination.
Phil's working with us to kind of explode that. So.
Yes, yes. It's and again, Phil and I spent a lot of time 2 months ago. He and I were doing extensive research on YouTube and Google Plus, and we found several small businesses in the United States that were dominating the big companies. I mean, the biggest mega companies by using YouTube and Google Plus. So it is a category that you can compete and get ahead with, but it requires consistency. You know, a video a week. It's a lot easier than you think. You know Buzz, right? But excuse me. But excuse me. Where's my coffee? Buzz knocks out a video a week now, and technically, he he's just a machine for me in promoting his site. Thank you, though. He's just consistent. He's got a little webcam. Hey, today's mortgage minute is about blah, blah, blah. Click, send, and it's automated. It goes out to all of his sites. But he's getting a lot of SEO from creating those little minute-and-a-half videos every week.
You don't have to do it right now, but one thing I'd like you to remind me of, I know the sound sometimes on the little digital cameras.
Uh-huh.
The little, I was going to say, I think you said that there was a microphone you could plug into.
Yeah, this mic right here is a stereo microphone that you can plug into a flip cam, or you can plug it into your computer, and it will dramatically increase the quality of your sound on your videos. And you can get this one at Guitar Center for 18 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So a great little, you can also pick one up at a Radio Shack if you can't, if they're out. But great little attachment to get good audio,
Right.
especially if you're outdoors, there's traffic nearby, you need a mic. Okay, so, whoa, social media landscape for 2012, that's pretty crazy. So I don't want you to, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but this is again a framework of different social media platforms that are available to do different things. Whatever you can think of, there's a specialized social media platform for it. But the key for you is get started and start big with the big platforms, and then maybe refine to something specialized down the road. Here's another one. Again, each one of these represents a channel specific to a company or an industry. Massive amounts of social media channels that you can potentially use to market your company. Don't be overwhelmed by that. You don't need that. Just want you to know it's out there. Okay, so social channels by personality. People who consider themselves to be the experts. So this is where you begin to start target your audience. What is it that my audience likes? What are their pain points? What is common to my audience, my target audience? And again, the important thing is the more narrow you get, the better you'll be at this. So the expert, he's using Blogger, Twitter, Facebook, podcast, YouTube, Flickr. I'm not even sure what that is over there. That is Tumblr, actually. So people who are the interested, they have the personality that they're inquisitive, they discover new technology, they're reading content all of the time. Again, Twitter, Blogger, Tumblr, Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, and podcasts. The entertainer, they just want to have fun, be the life of the party, and again, you can see the channels that they're on. Again, identifying, clarifying, simplifying who your audience is and how to speak to them. More importantly, how to speak to them that intrigues and gets a conversation going, so that your brand is in front of them and they know your name, and when they're ready to buy, you're top of mind and they're going to make that purchase. Or more importantly, somebody has recommended you on a social channel. They said, I use this person and they are great, I trust them to do business with. 78% of people will trust that over an overt advertisement. Advertisement, traditional push marketing, is trusted only 14% of the time. So I'm not saying don't use it, because TV, radio still sells, but in conjunction with a referral or a review on a social channel, it has a great deal more value. I only trust Joe to do my plumbing. Joe is the greatest, and I literally feel that way. I refer Woods Plumbing all the time. They're in one of my networks, but they've worked for 5 of my friends, and every one of my friends have said they were amazing. So I won't refer anybody else. They're my plumbing referral source because they have made me look great, and because I refer them, people trust my referral, and they will do business with Woods Plumbing. So content soup. This is a class that I teach that will talk specifically about right channel, right message, targeting your target audience. You could have an all-female audience. Connie, how many guys are booking enchanting occasions versus girls?
No, guys.
Exactly, right? So your primary target audience is female, right? Okay. So she knows that Pinterest and other heavily trafficked female social platforms is where she needs to spend her time. Facebook and Pinterest. But the right mix. And again, start with the one where the largest amount of your audience is, which if your business to consumer is always on Facebook, because a billion people, it's hard to get more people on a platform than that. Most of the other sites are micro sites compared to Facebook. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands versus billions. Yes.
So what do you do if you have two big audiences, so you're B2B and B2C both?
Mm-hmm.
Do you sort of tailor Facebook to be B2C and you're targeting your consumer audience there, and then on LinkedIn you are tailoring your LinkedIn account to other businesses? I mean, do you sort of have that split personality?
A little
in your
bit.
social media
Yes.
channels?
Yes. I would suggest in that context, and more importantly, it goes back to what Dale said when we started. You're listening. So if you're listening on LinkedIn, what is the channel forcing as far as engagement? What is appropriate on that channel? What's the appropriate etiquette on that channel? You want to make sure, and on LinkedIn, it's business to business. Don't give me any fluff, just tell me the deal and what's your offer. On Facebook, you would never do that. That is an absolute wrong approach for Facebook. Facebook is relational, it's visual, it's pictures. Give me a picture that says what you're trying to say to me. So again, amazing looking house that is way beyond anything I would dream about living in, but it gets me talking to Jen about houses. She's putting it out there, she's starting the conversation. So yeah, you need to be a little bit of a split personality, but you can bridge both directions a little bit. It still is a relationship, even when it's business to business. There is relational and credibility that you're going to build over time.
Because that's a referral relationship.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Very much so. So one of the other pieces that we'll work on is laying it out and segmenting it. You do not want to spend most of your time on your expertise, because people don't want to hear that. They want to know, some valuable information. So for the Chamber, it would be valuable things to know about Northwest Tucson for the Marana Chamber. New business openings, new business opportunities, new business meetings. You're going to celebrate everything that has the word business in it in the Northwest part of Tucson. It's what you would do in a conversation if we were meeting in a group. You just take that and then apply it to your social channels. And you break out topics. New business openings, new people hiring. You can break it out in multiple different ways, as well as entertainment, this weekend in Marana, and list all the things that are happening this weekend in Marana. You then become the source for all things that are happening in Marana. And then you break that out, and then you take it to the next step, and then you put it on a schedule. And that keeps you posting on a consistent basis, but you're mixing up your content so that you're not, your normal, natural human approach is going to be to fall back to what's in your pocket, what you know and your expertise. You have to stay more balanced than that. For people to listen to the expert part, you've got to engage them in what they want to consume. So again, images, posting of, again, entertainment opportunities. And I would say for referral groups or networking groups, you couldn't put enough images of people on your content. Because every time somebody sees a picture of a group on Facebook, they'll spend 50% more time on that post than if it was just come to breakfast, kind of an invite kind of thing. If they see people, they'll say, I know him, I know her, and they're looking around, they're looking at that group picture, trying to identify who they know, spending a lot more time there. Double, triple, quadruple the chance they'll click the link, sign up for your event. So getting found online, I'm not going to spend a ton of time there, but as you are looking at search engines, I segment that into 3 categories. Website, search engine optimization. This is on-site SEO. This is taking your keywords and embedding them in your photos and your copy. So if I'm a veterinarian, I'm going to say things about dogs and cats and pets in my copy in such a way that it matches up for what people are putting into the search bar on Google. So once I find my optimized keywords, and it's 3 to 5 optimal keywords, I'm going to take those and I'm going to apply them across every platform that I use, especially starting at the website. I'm optimizing those keywords. Phil Chevane did 2 weeks of SEO for us. And again, you guys that are members, if you didn't see that, you got to go back and watch it. Awesome tools on how to find your keywords, how to find your short tail keywords versus your long tail keywords, what the difference is between the two. He actually clarified a few things for me there that helped me better understand how to optimize my websites as well as my social media sites. Social SEO. So now you're going to take the same keywords, and when you put your About Us on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all of those other social channels, you're going to keyword that content. It's going to say that I am the best veterinarian, I love dogs and cats and warm and fuzzy, and I like to hug them and kiss them, and whatever that is for a veterinarian, right? You're going to have that same verbiage on every channel that you have out there. Because again, whether you ever engaged on the platform, you're going to get a boost by optimizing those sites and increasing your searchability online. Yes?
I was just curious if Sandy has identified the keywords for your new employer, the business you're doing now.
We have an entire SEO department.
Cool.
That's,
Do you know what your main long tail keyword is?
no. I don't.
So that's something that the SEO team should be using, and they should be communicating and shouting from the mountaintops. Don't, always use these 5 phrases in your copy.
It's just, I'm not in charge of marketing my company.
Mhm.
I'm in charge of marketing our clients' companies.
Mhm.
So that's, I think that's why I haven't delved into that yet. Yeah.
But great for you to know,
But yes, I should know. Just
because they are the phrases that people are plugging into a Google search.
Yes.
So even subconsciously, as you write your content, you're going to pique their interest more if those phrases are in your wording.
Yeah.
So the other is mobile SEO, and you guys know that mobile is growing faster than any other platform. What you can do on a mobile device now versus 2 years ago is really crazy. I mean, you can do all your banking. You can never go to the bank. You can take pictures and deposit your checks. And now even I've talked to the guys about they've done escrow pieces that they do digitally, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do with mobile devices. But for you, the important thing is that you're optimized. For instance, Google Plus Local, most important site for any business that is location-based. You need people when they're a mile from here and they pull out their device and they say real estate or mortgage or networking group or whatever it may be. More importantly for your clients, veterinarian, what's in the neighborhood. It's going to map them to the closest one that has taken care of their mobile SEO. If they've done their homework on mobile SEO, they're going to come up with a little red button and there's a map. Click. Hey, that's 2 blocks from me. I'm going there. People will go local if it looks like a reputable company. So you've got a good website, you've got good social channels. They find you locally, that looks like a reputable person. They're going to be able right there on their iPhone or Android look and even look at a couple reviews for you. Well, everybody says they're great and they're just 2 blocks away. Their decision is made. They're going to call you, and you're great at what you do, so you're going to help. That's going to sell your product for you. But if you're not optimized for mobile, you're missing in the Tucson market in the 25% of what you could get. 25% is about the range of local Tucson market have adapted to mobile. People using mobile. If you're in, for instance, the San Francisco market, they're at 57% mobile usage. If you don't have mobile in that neighborhood, Sandy, you were right nearby, right? Everybody there uses their mobile device. They check in on Foursquare more, they check in on Facebook more. So what you have to be optimized there for a small business, if you're missing this, it's equal to what you would be missing on your website. So it's extremely important and growing fast. So you want to be optimized so that people can find you on their iPad. iPad is still functioning as a mobile device and one of the fastest growing, fastest selling devices. If you look things up on an iPad, you're going to be finding mobile-based search. It's going to provide maps, everything like an iPhone or an Android would. So you want to make sure Yelp, Angie's List, anywhere that reviews and is location-based, you want to be listed there. Any questions on that? I'm going very fast. Slow me down and ask questions.
I was going to say, if it's of any interest, I know we have a service called Online Reputation Management, and one of the things they do is set you up on the top 10 local, get your account on the top 10 local search things. And I was going to say, if you wanted, in case you could, I didn't know what the top 10 were, quite frankly. But I was going to say, if you want me to send you a list of
Well,
that.
actually, Mike does that.
Oh, Mike does
Yeah.
that. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Mike does.
Yeah,
Mike
but send your link. I'd love. We'll post it on the group, and I would love to see that list and how it compares to. Obviously, we mentioned a few of the big ones, but there are multiple others that you can be listed on, and you should be listed on. Yahoo Local and several others have great searchability, and again, even if you just list your company there, you're going to increase the chances of somebody picking up the phone and calling you. So the power of a mobile device, 50% of global search is now done on a mobile device. The rest of the world is quite a bit ahead of us. We're catching up, but we're a little bit behind on mobile search, which sounds crazy, right? It's based on network. Because we are so cable-based in the United States, our cable, our phone, our DSL, everything is cable-based, and we have a huge infrastructure within the United States of cable-based business. The rest of the world doesn't have that infrastructure, so they adopted mobile way ahead of us. And Europe and Asia are 2 to 3 years ahead of us on mobile devices and mobile technology and mobile speed. They've been on 4G for a couple of years. So global search, globally, it's in the 75–80% range in some countries because they really have no DSL line or cable line.
Do you know what the best phone service is for international?
I don't.
I heard it was AT&T.
I had heard that same thing, but I don't know that. Yeah.
More complete.
Verizon's better definitely nationally, but I had also heard that AT&T was the best global. We should ask Phil. He would know that. Websites must be mobile optimized. 25% of Americans last month said they watched a short video on their phone. Mobile requires site-specific SEO work. Google Places, Yelp, Angie's List, Yahoo Local, Yellow Book. I mean, there's just an enormous amount of sites. Literally, if you go even to GPS, there are over 200 sites that you can list yourself mobily. So, social and sales funnel. How are we doing on time? We're doing great. You guys ask more questions. Slow me down a little bit. Social and sales funnel. So yeah, you already have a traditional sales funnel, whatever it is that you have, whether you have it systemized or not, you have a sales funnel. You may want to go back and revisit it, but you have one. So what social media is, it's a layer on top of your traditional sales funnel. It helps you fill the top of the funnel with new customers. So you take all of those social channels and you're, again, let me qualify time on this, because I know a lot of you guys are looking at this and this is going to be all day long. How do I do this? It's not. What I Traditionally, when I set up a client, I suggest, with all the tools set up properly, about 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, monitoring by email during the day. And you can do multiple different kinds of monitoring, but this is not something that you do all day long, unless you get paid to, and then it's awesome. If it's part of your job, yay, Jennifer. Yes?
What is the W?
That's WordPress. Yeah, so it's just blog. It's another way to say blog. Blogger, WordPress, you can have a website that is just HTML coded for blog. But WordPress is more than just a blog now. I prefer to set up websites on WordPress platform because it's made to be searched. In many cases, I've taken websites, converted all of their content as it looks and as it is, moved it over to a WordPress blog, and they've moved up in search just by migrating over, because it's a much more searchable site. The structure and how it's set up with the headings and the subheadings is made to be searched by Google. So it's very searchable, and in most cases it'll be easily searched by Google better than a traditional HTML coded website. The other great thing about a WordPress site is it's like an iPhone. iPhones are great and Androids are great because there's hundreds of thousands of developers making cool things to make it do things. WordPress is the same way. Hundreds of thousands of developers building plugins to make it do cool things. So it's the iPhone of websites. It's going to have a lot of buttons, and most of them are free. Some are paid that'll make it do things that you want it to do, instead of paying a developer thousands of dollars to build a new platform that does database management or whatever that may be. You can add a plugin that will do database management and pay 20 bucks for it versus thousands and thousands of coded database management. Anybody on WordPress? Okay? Okay. Cool. It's also getting very, very affordable. Websites of the past of $15,000, $20,000 that's no longer the case. $2,500, $1,500, you can have an amazing website that'll get found online. So social media provides brand awareness, reputation, lead generation, customer service, customer development. You can collect feedback on a lot of these social media networks, and brand loyalty. All of those things are what helps feed the funnel that social media platforms provide. And then you transition that to the sales funnel. I am already on my last slide, so you guys can ask any questions you like.
Well, I have a suggestion, and that is that each of our attendees talk to us about where they're at right now in social media and what they would want to be doing over the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
Their priorities might be, and
absolutely,
maybe give some feedback and help them.
Absolutely.
I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but
no, feel comfortable.
It's a good opportunity for you to get some one-on-one help.
Absolutely. And we try to do that in every class. We try to build in 15 minutes to half an hour of Q&A, and we do it along the way. So we're going to talk about your business, and never in a negative light. We're not going to be mean or any of that kind of thing. We want you, no matter where you're at, to grow your business, get better at these tools, and use them more effectively. So where are you at? Let's just throw it out there, anybody that's willing. And what tool would you like to, or tools, or where would you like to go, or where do you think you need to go?
I'm using Facebook for a lot of things, mainly for the referral groups, and we put a lot of content out there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure out how to get more interaction. I
Mm-hmm.
think we do pretty well with our members, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out how to get outside interaction. I use LinkedIn a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where we get most of our members, is probably LinkedIn.
Okay.
I don't use it a lot every day, but I use it a lot when I'm really trying to sell something on a meeting or something's going on, and a lot of people will come as a result. A lot of people don't interact with me there.
Mhm.
I have a ton of people that want to connect with me. I mean, every day I open it up, it's like 10 people. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. But they don't interact when I post something.
Okay.
So,
Are you talking about LinkedIn now?
LinkedIn, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, LinkedIn, you won't get as much interactivity on LinkedIn. I'm just jumping over to Facebook to talk with some numbers about your interaction. And it's loading so slowly. So you will never get a ton of interactivity on LinkedIn as it sets today. However, I do get more closed business from LinkedIn because I see it, I buy it, because it's a business-to-business network. It's more consumer-driven, and you can sell more products. So sign up for my networking thing or group or class, whatever, is appropriate and will close more on LinkedIn. Conversation happens on Facebook.
So you were saying that you think it's more appropriate to sell things on LinkedIn. So,
Yes.
like for our memberships, would it be more appropriate? Would it be okay if I said, "Hey, join our networking group. It's $2.99 a year, or whatever"?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm careful not to be too crazy about
Yeah.
selling things, but on LinkedIn, you feel like that's
You can be
appropriate.
more direct.
Okay.
Is the appropriate way. It still needs to be relational. You need to develop relationship with people, and again, everything applies to you as well, Rebecca. In this, you're going to have a conversation, you're going to have a relationship with them, but you may literally have the conversation over on Facebook and close the deal on LinkedIn.
Right.
But you never are that quite that direct necessarily, or shouldn't be, on Facebook. But here's the value. So for you guys, if you had just somebody designated that every one of your mixers and breakfasts and lunches and all of that, somebody designated to take pictures, load them to your page, tag everybody that you could find in that page, and that's where you need a personal profile. In order to do that, you're going to tag everybody that you see in the room. You have the potential. So here's Online Biz Smart. We have 517 likes. It's a little above average, but not huge. But our potential reach is 220,000 plus. So what that means is, if all of us are in the room and I take a picture of all of us and I tag each one of you, then your friends are going to see that tag. The friends of friends that can see our content is 220,000 people. So you've got to find ways to get that engagement beyond a post. So if I just put a post out, I'm going to get, maybe 100 impressions. But if I put it out and I tag everybody in it, and then they share it out beyond that, then my impressions potentially can go to this 220,000. That's where personal profile in combination with page is extremely powerful.
And I struggle with the real estate portion of having a page. I just don't use it hardly at all. I guess I just don't know how without being intrusive, because I get annoyed when I see the same people over and over. And with real estate, it's a little more salesy. With the groups, I can throw things out there, pictures, and it's more fun, and we're all talking. With the real estate, it's different, so I feel like I'm imposing.
So here's what you can do, though. The value of image. Again, Dale identified Facebook really well. You take that image and you put it on your Facebook page first, and you post it to your page.
Okay.
And then share it to the groups. So then you're actually giving, and we'll go into EdgeRank in the next 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks, I'm going to really help with a business page strategy. We'll spend the whole session on Facebook business page strategy. Next week is personal page strategy. 2 weeks is Facebook page strategy. So create the content and put it out on your page, and then share it to all of your groups, to your profile, etc. You're giving all of the potential EdgeRank or juice back to your page. So let me show you how that works. I did one, and I'm hoping I won't be making myself to be, let's see, today's Wall Street.
When I put things on my page,
Uh-huh.
I can't tag people.
Uh-huh.
So I usually end up doing it on my personal profile, and and then sharing it to.
I have a strategy for that, though. You can. That's where at the top there's a blue bar that says "Use as Jennifer." You click that. Come back down. It'll let you tag in the comments anybody that you need to tag.
Got it.
You can even go back to the original image and tag it with all the people as Jennifer.
Okay, I'm not.
So that's how, again, you just blow that post up. So I don't have a huge amount of viral traffic on this, but if you look at the reach here, that post, because I shared it out to a lot of groups, the reach was 1,762 people on that post. So, and it was an image. If you go look at that post, you can click here and you can see it's the other group, and here's what it looks like. And I did exactly what I said. I went back and I tagged the other people that were in that image, and because of that, then it went it didn't go viral, but there are other reasons for that. Different kind of content. But if you go down here, you'll see some content that did go viral. Anything over an 8, yay, way to go. 7, 8, anything above that, you can see some of them literally have 0 engagement, 0 virality.
Don't we have one that's 60?
We have some high ones. Look at this one, 37. This is Deborah's video presentation. So Deborah, one of our smart masterminds, one of our smart masterminds, did a presentation on YouTube. And so we just, at the end of it, Dale came back and said, Deborah did a great presentation, and thank you, Deborah, and did a screenshot image. And a lot of conversation and sharing went on after that to make this one an extremely viral post. So why that's important is Facebook algorithm, it's called EdgeRank. If you don't have some viral posts, you have no impressions when you talk about your expertise. So you need to intentionally create viral posts, even if it's a little out of your topic range, so that when you talk about what's important, people will still see it. So because this one had a virality of 37.88%, that boosts the impressions that the next post, the importance. So one of the pieces of EdgeRank is called and I'm just blanking on it. Basically, it's relationship. So if you like my page, affinity is the word. Affinity is the word. If you like my page, you really won't even see my content unless you come back at some point and engage with another post. You like it, comment, or share it. So we're building affinity for one another, and because of that, then you're going to see more and more of my content. So back on the scheduling piece, I schedule viral content that I'm intentionally trying to create content that people are going to talk about, so that I'm increasing my affinity with more people. Does that make sense? Wouldn't you do that in a network environment as well? I'm gonna tell about my plumber, and in our networking relationship, then eventually, if I do that with enough people, then I am building affinity with them, and they're going to start telling people about me. Works the same way on Facebook. You're building affinity. You want massive amounts of affinity with lots of people, because the more they engage, the more their friends are going to see your content. Yes?
I just had a suggestion. I think as Michael was saying when he was showing you sort of that would come up with the topics, it's not just
There's
real
a
estate, but you're sort of thinking about, like all the
37,
different things that people who are looking
there's
for
a
real estate would be interested in.
36.
So a friend of mine who is a real
There you go.
person,
Yeah.
she posted.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was a good one, Dale.
100,
Good example.
things to do in that community, and so each one was one post.
Right.
And so, of course, the people who are looking for a home, a lot of times they're new to Tucson. They're looking for the cool things to do
Sure.
in town.
Mhm.
So that
Great idea.
that touches
Yeah.
on the market, and of course, that's a whole series. You've got whatever that top number is. You don't have to think about that many
Right.
of them because you've got them.
Right.
And people know to come back to that.
And content like that I would suggest that you use your pages in conjunction with one another, because the topic applies to both channels that you have. So you could share it on, put it on one and share it to the other, and vice versa.
I can't share my real estate stuff with the group, with anything to do with Tucson Business Club and Referral Tree, because then I'm stepping on the other agents' toes. Because Bill and I own the groups, and what happens is we have 9 groups and we have 8 realtors. And so when they're, and you know, they're exclusive in their group, so I don't want to step on toes by posting content
Right.
in that group.
So you would just go one direction, put it on Tucson Business Club and Referral Tree, and then share it to your
Share it to
real
me.
estate. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
you can make them all work. You just have to be strategic in how you do them.
But once you've developed your content strategy and you know what your audience wants to hear about and what interests them, then it's much easier to think of what posts to plan to post.
Look at this one. Dale did this one. It was brilliant.
But I have to credit Mike on this one. Because he kept telling me that I needed to have some more
Fluffy.
fluffy, yes. All my posts were so serious and
Yeah.
social media business strategy.
And that's
So
why
he
you
tells
want
me this and
to.
this
That's
is
why you want to partner with Dale. I mean, she understands business and she's to the point and to the business, but in learning how to engage audience, this was an awesome post by Dale. So it had a virality of 56.6%. Means it blew up. I mean, hugely viral. So if we view that post, we can see exactly why. It's a cool, you know, vacation dream for somebody over a stream bridge, and she added a question. Always ask a question. Do you think there is Wi-Fi? I hope not. So.